Hello and welcome into another Chi Time here on UK Health Radio with me, Clara Apollo, and I have for you a really special guest here. Oh my goodness, I'm so thrilled and honoured to once again welcome Master Kenneth Cohen to the Chi Time hot seat. He is a renowned Qigong master, scholar, writer. He is the chap to go to for all things Tai Chi and Qigong, and we are thrilled that he's coming over to the UK next year, 2019. So welcome again, Master Ken, to Chi Time.
Thank you. I can hardly wait to be back in England. I had such a wonderful time and wonderful reception from the students last time. They even understood my American accent. I'm sure that thanks to Hollywood, you know, the problem is Americans have a harder time understanding people from the UK rather than the other way around. But anyway, I'm thrilled to be getting ready to return.
I know, exactly. You really created such a family here when you were here down in Bournemouth, wasn't it? And I know a lot of us have been practicing our primordial Qigong, which is what you first introduced us to. And I cannot wait to share some more trainings with you. And you are indeed coming to the New Forest, but also to London and to Birmingham. So we're thrilled. You've got a tour going on, haven't you?
Pretty much, with some time in between, so I can truly be a tourist.
Yes, of course.
I am glad that I'm doing some other venues this time. I'm very honored that Alternatives in London is hosting me for a one-day event early in June of 2019, and that will be on the 5 animal frolics, which is the earliest style of Qigong that's still practiced today. I mean, we can see the this aspect of animal movement going way back to early Chinese shamanism, but in terms of a choreography of healing and wellness techniques, these animal exercises from the 2nd century are certainly the first. Now, in a one-day workshop, I obviously can't cover all 5, but we're going to do the core techniques, and you should be able to learn the complete crane and bear. And those are really the basis of it. The crane for relaxation and balance and grace, and the bear, as you might imagine, for rootedness and strength. In fact, the bear is great for warding off winter cold and dampness, whereas the crane is good for cooling the body in the summer. So we'll emphasize that for the Alternatives one-day event in London. But yes.
Can I ask a question about that? You said the winter time and the bear, and then the summertime and the crane. Here you are working with the yin and the yang of the elements and these animals who represent that. Is that why there's such a harmonization that occurs when you work with these two?
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly true. So the crane and the bear are like yang and yin, as you could imagine. The crane is more ethereal, lighter, associated with the air, with the heavens. And the bear has this rooted strength sinking into the earth, so is more yin, more conserving energy, whereas you could say the crane is a little more expressive, opening rather than closing in the sense of conserving. So yes, it's a yang and yin balance, which is why they really form the foundation. And the main thing is you can learn it pretty easily in one day and really feel great afterwards to have a workout that you can continue training. But this will be quite different from remember, there are many styles of Qigong. I teach the ones that I personally practice and the ones that I love. These are not things that I've simply read in a book or studied from a DVD. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you can't learn accurately, nor can one discover one's own blind spots, where you're holding tension, that sometimes we don't see it for ourselves. You can't learn these things unless you have a teacher giving you feedback. So I spent many years working with some exceptional, absolutely wonderful teachers, most of whom have passed on, so I really miss them. But this is what I'm trying to transmit and share in my various workshops and trainings that I'm teaching. Again, what I'm teaching at Alternatives is very different from the equally important style that I'll be sharing in the New Forest at, I believe it's called Burley Manor. Wasn't that the name of the venue that I'll be teaching at there?
That is right. So you're at Alternatives on the 8th of June. And you're going to be at Burley Manor in the New Forest on the 11th, 12th and 13th. So this is going to be midweek, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And this is the Quan Healing Qigong. And I'm really interested to know why this particular form you refer to as the healing Qigong.
Well, the style that I'll be sharing there is called, as you say, Yi Quan. The Q is pronounced like a CH, so YIQUAN. And you'll notice that ending QUAN is the same ending as in Taiji Chuan, popularly called Tai Chi. So Chuan means fist. But in the Chinese language, nouns easily become verbs, verbs become nouns, parts of speech are very fluid. So Yi Quan is the fist art, you could say the martial art, which is also a healing art that trains the E means intent or will, trains intent to direct the Qi. Let me say that again. Yi Quan, like Tai Chi, is a healing art that you can practice for personal well-being, as well as the vocabulary of a powerful martial art or way of improving your strength, coordination, balance, speed, power. You can apply that to any sport, not just martial arts. But like Tai Chi, you can practice it just for health and or practice it for martial arts. The emphasis, obviously, in the New Forest workshop will be Yi Quan for health. Now, I often call Yi Quan Tai Chi 101. You know what I mean by that? Like you take a university course and it's your basic introduction, and yet it has tremendous depth. So this is like a master class in the foundations of every style of Qigong. Yi Quan has exquisite focus on all of the elements of correct posture. And we learned that in the context of a specific choreography of standing meditation postures. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see this on the screen here, but for example, if I hold my hands up in front of me, there are specific postures of the hands that direct Qi to different parts of the body and that help us understand how to correct our alignment. That is the alignment not only of the spine, but also the knee over the foot, the hips over the knees, lining up and aligning acupuncture points, such as the Bai Hui point at the crown of the head with the Huiyin point in the perineum. The Huiyin point in the perineum energetically connected with the Yongquan, that is the bubbling spring acupuncture points in the top of the arches of the feet. Those are the first points in the kidney meridian. They literally help us draw Qi up from the earth. So there's this, again, fine tuning of the mechanical aspects of posture in Yi Quan that is absolutely extraordinary, along with how to coordinate the breath, how to deepen and slow down the breath, how to modulate the effects of stress in the process, because we know that stressful events cause the body to be physically, tight, and the breath to speed up. So we learn how to relax, keep the breath slow. And then there's a system of moving meditations. Now, there's a curious terminology in Yi Quan. Standing meditation is called Jianzhuang. Jianzhuang means literally standing like a post, like a wooden post in the ground. So in Jianzhuang, in the standing meditation, externally you're still, but internally there's a lot happening. There's a lot of movement. That is, you're sensing, oh, why are my shoulders tight? Or, hey, I know I'm standing balanced. I know that my two shoulders are at the same level. So why is it that my left shoulder, why is it that my left shoulder always feels tight when I'm standing? Oh, look at that. Wow. Or how is it that my neck always feels kind of strange whenever I do my standing meditation? Hey, I know my neck is straight. There's nothing wrong with my, oh, look at that. Wow, I've been standing with my head pushed forwards. Or why is it that when I feel my breath, I don't feel it in the lower abdomen? Where am I holding tension in the torso? So externally, although you're absolutely still, there's this inner deep process of discovery that I'll help guide you through so you can find your own areas of energetic blockage or tension. That's why I say it's the basic mechanical training for any style of Qigong. But then in addition, there is walking meditation. So standing meditation, Jianzhuang, means standing like a post in the ground. The walking meditation was called by the founder of Yichuan, Huozhuang. Huozhuang. What does that mean? A moving standing post. You're doing moving standing meditation. That is, in standing meditation, there is movement within stillness. Externally, you're still. Internally, there's a process of discovery. In walking meditation, externally, you're moving, but internally, you're trying to find a state of absolute peace, tranquility, silence. Externally, you're moving. Internally, nothing's moving at all. So we find a new way of dealing with the chaos of life around us, that we find that still point within. Doesn't mean we lose our sensitivity. We're still aware of what's happening around us. We can still be responsive, but we're not going to get so worked up or so emotionally involved in what's happening that our blood pressure rises, that our hormones change, that we produce stress hormones. You know, cortisol, the most common stress hormone, is a neurotoxin. When you get upset by events, frustrated, you're giving your brain a bath in toxic chemicals. We want to learn how to control that. But when we learn the standing and moving meditation, we find a new way of responding to stressful events, so we maintain our center and don't suffer such ill effects that it turns into a disease. So again, standing and walking meditation, movement within stillness, and then stillness within movement. In Chinese, it's called Dongzhong Qiu Jing, Jingzhong Qiu Dong. Within stillness, find movement. Within movement, find stillness. And then there's even more. Yichuan, remember, means the healing and martial art. That's the Quan that trains your Yi, your mind, your intent. So implicit in the name is that we are working on the inside and the outside. That is your Yi, your state of mind. And by outside, I mean the physical mechanics, your physical posture. But also implicit in the name is that we are learning specific ways of training the mind. So you will learn in the Yichuan workshop, in that 3-day training, and it's going to be intensive, it's experiential. You will be learning a specific series of healing visualizations. That's part of the Yichuan system, which you can practice either as a seated meditation or in the midst of doing the standing and walking practices. And there's even more. You might think, hey, wait a second, this is too much for 3 days. Believe me, it's not. I've been teaching these things for a long time. You know, I started when I was 15 years old. I started 50 years ago. I'll give you a hint how old I am. And I've developed a way of teaching people that I can modulate and know when I need to review, when I need to repeat something, when we need to stop and take notes and discuss as a group. Believe me, you will be able to learn these techniques in the time allotted. So in addition to standing and walking meditation and the visualizations, there's also what's called the methods of Shi Li. Shi Li means experimenting with energy. And these are movement patterns that are not addressed in the various methods of walking meditation, that open the meridians, that drive qi throughout the entire body. So there's no place that's lacking, no place that's insufficient or weak. And that also vastly improve your skills at coordination, relaxation, balance. So those are the basics of the Yichuan system. And the nice thing about it is it's not only a complete method of well-being in and of itself, but it combines so easily and harmoniously with any other healing program, whether you're doing yoga or another style of Qigong or martial art, or you want to learn Qigong, this style of Qigong, Yichuan specifically to improve your martial art or to improve your sport. Yichuan even has techniques that can directly apply to football, to basketball, to volleyball, to swimming. And we'll cover some of these things, because if you learn the principles, you can apply the principles of Yichuan mindfulness and movement to whatever is your activity, whether it's everyday work in the house or taking a walk outside or going for a run or a jog. Whatever activity you're doing, there is a way to apply these principles so you're more relaxed and more efficient. So that's a kind of overview of Believe it or not, I'm trying to be brief, of each trend.
Oh, wow. I'm so excited. You're listening to Master Ken Cohen here on UK Health Radio with me, CLARA Apollo, on Chi Time. And we're talking about the different styles of Qigong that are available that he's going to be bringing to the UK next year in 2019. And that idea of underpinning everything you do with your energy practice, I think is so key at this time of change and chaos. And have you noticed over there in America that people are really taking to Qigong in a big, big way now?
Yes, it's definitely growing. There was a significant study that was conducted by the United States Department of Health. It was a 5-year study looking at the popularity of Tai Chi and Qigong in the United States. And they found that altogether there were about 3.2 million practitioners of Tai Chi and another 750,000 practitioners of Qigong. That is, people who self-identified what they were doing as Qigong. However, if we consider Tai Chi a subset of Qigong, that is, if you're practicing for health and well-being rather than specifically for martial arts, then you could say altogether they found that there were about 4 million practitioners. However, in looking specifically at those who practice Qigong, there had been an 18% increase in the number of practitioners during the 5 years of the study, whereas the numbers of people who said what they were doing was Tai Chi, those numbers remained fairly stable. So in summary, we're finding that the number of people practicing Qigong is increasing approximately 20% every 5 years. And I suspect that that number is increased even beyond that, that it's accelerating now. So yes, it's becoming more and more popular, not only because people are finding that it works, that it has multiple applications, whether for, again, personal well-being or for sports performance, or as a kind of meditation in movement. You could even say it's medication in movement, but also because when you're practicing Qigong, you feel the results right away. I mean, it's enjoyable. It's not something you have to wait, oh, in 10 years, you're going to start feeling the Qi. It's going to take me 10 years to feel anything. Why the heck am I going to be doing it? I'm not going to want to do it. I won't be inspired to practice. But if, in fact, after even a single class, after your first class, if you can feel, hey, I'm more relaxed, this stuff really works. And if you go to your doctor and you find out, wow, my blood work is much better. The only thing I'm doing different is Qigong. Or, oh, my blood sugar was rising. Now it seems, the doctor might say, now it seems like you've got your diabetes under control. What are you doing that's different? Is your diet different? Well, I'm trying to watch my diet, but I'm also doing this thing called Qigong. When people find out that these things work and that they're even measurable, they're inspired to practice more and more. And then you tell your friends. So yes, the numbers are growing, and for some very good reasons.
So are there more statistics coming out about, you say that it can be proven, so you can explain to people that might be skeptical? Because you're right, I think that to have an experience that your energy feels more balanced, that you feel more relaxed and everything is tangible to you. You get it. No one can take that experience away from you, and it propels you forward. You want to do more. But how to encourage other people to, using words, one has to come up with statistics, don't you?
Unfortunately, that's the world we are in, where science has become more or less the religion. I hate to say it. But luckily, there is good science behind it. I mean, Qigong is really beyond the burden of proof. If you're a medical doctor or your healthcare advisor is unaware of the research that proves that Qigong is a powerful adjunctive therapy for many conditions, then your doctor better start keeping up with the literature, start reading the Nature magazine and the Journal of the American Medical Association and Lancet, which is published in the UK. It's one of my favorites. And all of these other standard medical journals, Annals of Internal Medicine. All of these standard medical journals have articles on Qigong and Tai Chi. And again, we can measure aspects of it. We know that there are bioelectric changes, that is, changes in the way electricity flows not only on the skin, but between the cells. We know that's an important way that the nerve cells communicate one with the other, that all the cells communicate one with the other. We know there are changes in hormones. We know there are higher levels of DHEA produced by Qigong. That's your body's anti-aging hormone. On the other hand, as I mentioned earlier, cortisol, the stress hormone, the levels tend to drop as a result of Qigong. Our vital capacity remains strong. That is your lung capacity, your ability to draw fresh air into your lungs and expel carbon dioxide, the ability to oxygenate and energize your cells. And very interestingly, something I may have mentioned in an earlier interview, a topic that excites me very much, is a couple of studies that were published over the past several years that show that Qigong practice increases telomere length. Telomere length. And what does that mean? There are ends of the DNA that can become frayed, that as the cells and as DNA replicates over time, those endpoints become like a frayed wire. And when that happens, not only do you not communicate healthy information from cell to cell through successive generations of cell death and growth and rebirth and so forth, but also you become more subject to genetically programmed diseases. So when telomeres become frayed or shortened, you're more likely to get the illnesses that, let's say, your parents or grandparents suffered from. We've all met people who say, oh, gee, I'm really worried I'm going to get cancer because my mom and my grandfather both had a certain type of cancer, or I'm worried I'm doomed to have diabetes because of the family history. Well, what some of these studies are now showing is that you can, through lifestyle changes, especially things like Qigong, and also, of course, diet and emotional habits and your physical environment, all these things work together. But definitely the studies show that by practicing Qigong, you can preserve the length of your genetic material so it does not become shortened and frayed, thus making it more likely that you will get genetically influenced diseases. So this is a big thing for so many people that are worried about suffering from the same ills that their previous generations suffered from. So, this is just one example. There are so many ways that we're now able to measure the effects of Qi and the clinical benefits of practice.
Yeah, and it's repeated practice, isn't it? It's something that after practicing the primordial Qigong form, it was suggested that we did 100 days practice afterwards. And my goodness, the levels of experience that come from that, I tell you, no 2 days were the same. And I'm still practicing this form. It is my go-to form for balancing, harmonization, for gathering the Qi, for connecting to the cosmos and the earth. I love it. And I really enjoy looking at it from the different perspectives. Sometimes I'll go into it in a real earth element sort of way, and other times I'll be outside, so I'll be with the cosmos with it, and it's such a varied form, but it's really unified and brings it all together. And it calls me to practice. My system calls it in because of what it gives me.
It's like learning this fascinating language. You become so enthusiastic. You want to kind of speak it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is like that. And what you mentioned is so true, that you get more benefit with more practice. I mean, within the limits of moderation, you don't want to overdo it nor underdo it. One of the significant aspects of that medical journal article that I cited before, I think it was New England Journal of Medicine, is part of the conclusion was that the more the practice, the journal actually said this, the more the practice of things like Qigong and other relaxation techniques, the greater the level of effect on our genetics. So this means you can change your very DNA, something that we used to think was a given. We would say, well, I inherited certain traits from my ancestry, not much I can do about that. I can't change my genetics. Now we know that's not true. And this corroborates an old philosophy in Chinese medicine, especially in Taoism, that says that we have two types of what's called original Qi, Yuan Qi. There's the original Qi in the sense that it is what we inherit from our parents and our ancestry. But there's also the original Qi of the universe. The same term, Yuan Qi, is used for the transpersonal and transcendent field of Qi that we live in. The Chinese have always said that even if your personal original Qi is poor, even if you're born with a weak constitution, you can change that by connecting to the Qi of the universe. Well, that I think is a poetic and experiential way of expressing what is now expressed in Western science as changing telomere length. So these are two complementary models, complementary ways of looking at human biology. Neither one excludes the other. They're both true.
Yeah, and it's also linking in all the epigenetic work that people like Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza are doing, and many other people too. There's sort of that, where you were saying that, you know, we are not held ransom by our genetics anymore. We can actually shift and change. And my sense is that when you bring Qigong into the mix, it really helps to embody these changes, that you have the movements, the meditations, the intention, that the whole shebang needs to be in the now moment, really focused on what's going on, and then you get the shifts.
That's right, because it is, in spite of the ability to focus on specific aspects of your health, it really emphasizes a systemic or global change in your being. That is, it's as if you're resetting your body's hard drive, you're optimizing the hard drive, you're rebooting the whole system rather than working on this or that corrupted software. And to use a computer analogy, that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Master Ken Cohen, it's great to have you here on Chi Time again. Have you got a cup of tea with you, perhaps?
Oh, of course, I always have a cup of tea. And I don't think you'll be able to see this, but there are actually leaves in the teacup. This is one of the Chinese simple ways of drinking tea. You have leaves that are picked by hand, approximately 2,000 pickings to make 1 pound of tea. And each leaf is crafted. That is, depending upon whether you simply allow the tea leaf to dry naturally, or you turn it into a ball, or you fold it into a little sword, or you spiral it into what looks like a tiny snail, when those leaves open up, the one that has been curled into a sphere will release flavor differently than one that has been spiraled or one that has been folded over. So there's actually a crafting of the leaf to influence the flavor and the aroma and to enhance the qi effect of the tea, because drinking tea is a form of Qigong. I'm not making this up. I mean, we speak about tea qi. It sounds funny in English, in Chinese, cha qi, tea qi. You know how in drinking wine they speak about the terroir, the landscape and the quality of the earth and the climate, how that influences the taste of the wine? Well, this is a major ancient concept in tea culture. That is, if you are drinking and you learn the elements of how to prepare really carefully a wonderful tea, when you're drinking that great tea, you are brought energetically, spiritually, emotionally, visually to the landscape where that tea was grown. And hey, I tell you, when you drink good tea, you can take a trip to China. This is the least expensive way to go to China. You want to go to, you think I'm joking?
No,
Well,
I do not, because I've been to one of your tea presentations.
Wait until you taste some good tea. When you have good tea, you will be in China. It's fantastic.
And
I know it sounds kind of crazy.
no, it's not.
But you know, people who put care into what they're doing, you can sense it. You can feel it. When you eat in a fine restaurant where the chef really loves what he or she is doing, that it's more than just an art, it's a passion. When you eat that food, you're getting more than just the taste, you're getting the energy and the love and the caring that was put into that food. Same thing can happen with tea. So yeah, tea and Qigong, they really go well together. And of course, I'm very happy to offer a tea experience, a full tea experience.
Yes.
The end of the workshop. So the workshop ends at noon on that, is it Thursday?
Thursday, and then we are gonna start the tea at 4:30. Ken, I thought that because it needs to be tea time, doesn't it? Really, I kept coming back to it. You know, tea time. It is late afternoon. I think will be really lovely for that, and it'll be
and it's such an important aspect of culture in the UK. I mean, this is fantastic.
And one of the things that I've learned so much from you, but that idea of not putting milk in your tea. Could you tell us why that is really not a good idea?
Yes, I can tell you now on your on this computer screen or wherever you're watching it, since no one can throw eggs at me and tell me to get off the stage. I'm always worried about that when I'm saying something that seems so sacrilegious in terms of British culture. Hate to tell you this, but for full medicinal and qi benefits, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with adding the milk for certain cultural reasons. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you want to get the full sensory, cultural, and qi experience of a fine Chinese tea, please do not add milk. It lessens the experience, and also you don't get the medicinal benefits. If you want that tea to lower cholesterol, which it can do, we know that the epigallocatechin gallate, one of the chemicals in tea, bonds with the bad cholesterol and takes it out of your body so it doesn't enter the bloodstream. How is that going to happen if you're taking high levels of cholesterol because you're adding milk to the tea? So there's some very good reasons. We don't have time to go into it right now, but I'll explain it briefly when we do our tea tasting and tea ceremony and tea lecture at Burley Manor as part of the workshop. Now, you don't have to do both events, but I recommend doing both. I mean, if you really want to have the full experience, take the Qigong workshop and stay, even if you're visiting from London or wherever, stay a little bit longer for the tea. You're going to absolutely love it. And it's a great way to relax and socialize and just enjoy the experience after training so hard in the Qigong. The tea will last from about 4:30 till 6:30. And actually probably 4:30 till 6, and then time for questions and discussion. And then if you, again, want to do even more training, I'm available the day after the workshop on that Friday for some private one-on-one classes. You can contact Qi Time. They can contact you to find out how to arrange that. And then I think, just a few days later, I'll be in Birmingham.
Oh, I tell you what, Ken, can we get you back on to talk about that? Because that is a massive topic, and you've shared so much with us here on Qi Time this time. I love the fact that the Qi and the tea have come together really nicely again. And we've got a place that we can practice outside at Burley Manor.
Oh, great. That's wonderful.
I know, and the whole venue is in the middle of a big deer park, so it's got all that amazing energy going on as well. So it's utterly perfect for what you're going to be sharing with us there.
That's great, and the deer is a symbol of health and vitality in China, so that you can't get more perfect than that.
Absolutely. So if you want to find out more, then head over to consciouslyevents.co.uk, and Ken's page is up on there, or your own website. You've got a new revamped website now, haven't you? Which one?
Yes. You can still find it under the same domain names as before. That is qigonghealing.com, spelled Q-I. Don't put it through your spell checker. There's no U in there. It's not Q-U-I. It's Q-I-G-O-N-G healing, all one word.com. Or you can use my name, use kennethcohen.com, KENNETHCOHEN.com. Those will bring you to the same place, same website.
Excellent, excellent. Well, look, thank you so much for being part of Qi Time again, and for coming over to the UK in 2019. Is there anything that you would like to just finish off and share with listeners before we go?
Yes, just go outside, take a walk, because being outdoors is the best thing for your health. And breathe quietly. That's the best everyday way to do Qigong. And I look forward to seeing you. Oh, it's almost a year from now, but it'll go quickly.
It will go quickly. Thank you so much for your time, and keep your Qi up, my master.
Thank you.